Hi guys, welcome back to my kitchen. Join me. Today I'm preparing a salted caramel biscoff cheesecake for my son's birthday. And this recipe is inspired by the cake tunist. I will also link that information below this video. First, I started off by melting some butter in the microwave. Then I finally blitzed one package of biscoff cookie in my food processor until it's nicely ground up. This can also be done by using a Ziploc baggie, just adding the cookies in there and just using a rolling pin or a meat mallet to just crush them. And today I have my helpers with me in the kitchen. It's exciting because we are prepping a cheesecake for my son's birthday. Keep blitzing until it's finely ground into a nice crumb consistency for the cheesecake bottom. I lined an 8-inch pan with parchment paper at the bottom and the circumference with acetate. Then I set aside some of the crumbs. That will be used for later, and then in a bowl I added the rest of the crumbs and I added the melted butter. I went ahead and I thoroughly mixed it together to ensure it's all nice and coated with that butter. Then the next step is assembling. Just added today I'm using an 8-inch pan. I added the crumbs to the bottom of the pan. And then using the crumbs, I added the biscoff cookies all the way to the side, at the side around, just using the crumbs to help hold it up and building it together. After the crust is nicely assembled and all of the biscoff cookies is neatly lined all the way around, I set it into the refrigerator for it to set up while I start working on the filling for the cheesecake. I started by measuring some of the salted caramel into a bowl. Then I added the heavy cream. This will be mixed together to make like a whipping cream, which is a salted caramel flavor. Then using my hand mixer, I just go ahead and whip the caramel and cream together until it turns into a nice caramel whipped cream. So this is the salted caramel whipped cream part of it. Just keep whipping until it's nice and thick. Then what I did, I set out the cream cheese so that it becomes room temperature. Then I whipped that just a little bit, not too much. And then now I'm adding the softened cream cheese to the whipped cream and salted caramel mixture. I also added a splash of vanilla to the mix and like 4 tablespoons of powdered sugar, just to give it that little extra hint of sweetness. In all fairness, at this point it didn't feel like it was sweet enough, but when I had a slice of the cheesecake later and I combined it with the crust and the salted caramel topping, it was perfect without that added sugar. And now that the crust is cooled and set up, it's time to fill that mixture into the crust. I started by putting half of the amount in there. Then using my spatula, just smooth it out, pushing it into the side to ensure it's nicely packed in. And then I went in with some of the biscoff crumbs that I set aside earlier, just evenly distributing to make sure that it's nice and covered everywhere. And top that off with a drizzle of salted caramel. And then after that, I went in with the other half of the cheesecake filling. This is a no-bake cheesecake, so it just has to set up in the fridge. Just adding the rest of the filling on there, just evenly spreading it out Then after I was done with this, I just set it into the refrigerator for an additional hour for it to sit a little bit. Then I went in and I added some caramel on top. I didn't want to go in too early with the caramel because the caramel is thick and then the filling is soft, so I didn't want it to get mixed into the filling. So this is like 1 hour after me just adding some of the caramel on top, which I'll go ahead and just spread out. It doesn't have to go all the way to the corner because I will be adding the other crumbs that I have set aside. Okay, and now after I set that back into the refrigerator for another hour, it's time for me to do the finishing touch. I just use a little cover from one of my Pyrex dish just to give me a circle to work around. And then I went around that and I added the additional crumbs all around. This just gives it a nice finish and border. And then gently removing that cover. And then going back in on top to fill in that circle of caramel with additional caramel just to ensure there is enough. You can't go wrong with extra caramel, really. And then after that, I just set it back into the refrigerator overnight because this would be served tomorrow for my son's birthday. Then when it was time to serve, I just gently removed the cheesecake, peel away the acetate that I have around it. And of course I piped the happy birthday on top with white chocolate. And it was really delicious. It was worth the work and the patience of waiting. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you once again for joining me as myself and kids created this delicious cheesecake dessert. Have a wonderful day.